We have a variety of music for you tonight, but music nonetheless, and that's what we're here for, is to share with you all. This is one of many performances that happen in this infamous house that is graciously offered to us by Ruth Greenfield. Every time we host something here, it's always a good time, and it's always just an evening filled of good energy and people that only want to experience fine art and maybe discover something new. And it's always something, we always have something new and interesting to share with you. So I hope you're excited, because tonight's pretty interesting. We're calling it Around the World in 60 Minutes, or Around the World in 45 Minutes. We're going to take you through time, starting with the 1100s. We're going to be starting with a piece, it's called O Quam Mirabilis. It is going to be performed by my mother, Karen Neal. This is a piece by Hildegard von Bingen. And that's probably the earliest we're going to go. And moving on from there, we're going to travel to Persia, where we'll hear a folk tale about Qasam's slippers, Qasam, is that right?
Abu Qasim.
Abu Qasim slippers. I'll leave it at that. He will elaborate. We're going to take you from Persia all the way to, let's see, what is that? India. India. We're going to share some chants with you, a Hindu chant from India that will be performed by my sister, Naomi Neal. From there, we're going to travel all the way over to, let's see, Adam and Brian will be performing a piece called The Sicilian. The Sicilian is, did we skip over something?
Israel.
Numi Numi, I can't forget. Numi Numi will follow the India journey, and Numi Numi is, of course, from Israel. So, going on from there, we will be hearing some music from Adam Shevitz and Brian Neal. They'll be performing a piece called The Sicilian, followed by Clarissa. Clarissa, and your last name? Viega? Viega.
Yeah.
All right, Clarissa Viega and Adam.
Yeah.
Viera. Clarissa Viera and Adam Shevitz. Thank you. Shevitz. Adam Shevitz. Woo! Okay. Put your hand.
As long as we're keep it together.
Family. It's all family. It's fine. They'll be performing a piece called The Fantasy Pieces, Opus 73, and that's by Schumann, Franz Schumann.
No.
Nope.
Robert Schumann.
Robert Schumann, the other Schumann. Okay? All right.
The shoe on the other man.
Yes, exactly. After that, we're going to hear a beautiful collaboration between my mom, Adam Shevitz, and Clarissa on Après un rêve, one of my favorite pieces. It's actually the only piece that I can really play on the piano, so it's a special one. But I won't be playing it this time around. That'll be Adam. And then finally, we're going to end off with a very contemporary vibe. We have someone who will be joining us later in the evening, a dear friend of mine. His name is Leonardo Bacan. We have been writing music together for the past year and a half, and we're excited to share some original music with you. So we will be ending this evening with the end of the timeline, which is the present moment. Before we get into it, I just again want to thank everyone for being here. I want to thank Michael Todd for providing such an amazing service, taking beautiful photos and recording this content so that we can share it with the rest of the world. It's always much appreciated. And Ruth, is there anything that you'd like to add?
About an hour and a half.
I'm sure.
But I'll be very brief.
Of course.
This gentleman is a natural, isn't he?
Isn't he?
And he does every kind of versatile work besides welcoming us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, well, without further ado, let's get started. I'd like to welcome Karen Neal to the stage with O Quam Mirabilis.
Oh, how magnificent is the foreknowledge of the divine heart, which foreknew all that is created. For when God inspected the face of the human being he had formed, he perceived all of his works in this same human form. Oh, how magnificent is the inspiration that thus awakened man. These are words that were written by Hildegard von Bingen. She was born in 1098 and she passed away around 1172. She was a visionary, a mystic. She practiced botany. She practiced medicine. She was a composer, a writer, a philosopher, and an activist. She was an extraordinary human figure who is probably the most well-documented composer of the Middle Ages. So she wrote many chants. She was known for her the professor, monophonic. Boy, Aiden, you're contagious. Pronunciation will be an issue tonight. She was known for her monophonic lines, so that's one melodic line. There's no accompaniment underneath. But what she did differently was she would take one word, and like mirabilis, magnificent, and she would put many notes on that one word. So that's called a melisma, when many notes are associated with one word, as opposed to one word getting one note. So between those two things, she was known for these flowing, beautiful lines. I encourage all of you to check her out. She is a source of inspiration, and I hope you enjoy this chant. Let me give myself a note.
We now travel about 1,500 miles south and then 1,500 miles east to Persia. I hear a tale about Abu Qasim, who was a very well-known businessman about that same year, around 1100s. And he was not famous for being a businessman. He was famous because he had the ugliest, most disgusting slippers that he wore. And all of his friends would say, Abu Qasim, when are you going to get rid of those slippers? They're horrible. You're wealthy, you're well-to-do. Why do you keep wearing these ugly slippers all over the place? And he would always say, well, they're fine. They keep my feet dry and off the dirt, and I'm happy with them. One day, he was in the market, and he had an excellent business deal that he had thought of. There was this one vendor selling these beautiful little bottles, and another vendor selling a big container full of rose water. And he bought all of them, and he put the rose water in the little bottles and made just a killing in the market, a bunch of money that day. And to celebrate, he and his friends went to the baths. They went to the baths, and they put on their robes and took off their slippers and put them in the seating area before you entered the baths, and went in and enjoyed the baths. And when his friend left before him, he stayed while his friend left. And while Abu Qasim was in the baths, the head of the town came with his entourage to enjoy the baths as well. And their entourage saw these ugly slippers there, and they quickly threw them off to the side. And they went into the baths. So when Abu Qasim came out of the baths, his slippers were gone. And in their place were these beautiful slippers. So he thought, my friend, he's playing a trick on me. He got rid of my slippers and bought me these beautiful slippers. And so he put on the slippers and walked out. When the head of the town came with his entourage and discovered that his slippers were gone, they tried to figure out where they had gone, and they saw these ugly slippers, and everyone recognized those slippers as Abu Qasim slippers. He was famous in the town. And so they called Abu Qasim to the office. Abu Qasim, I see you are wearing my slippers, and here are your slippers. What do you have to say for yourself? And he tried to explain to them that this was a mistake. He thought his friend had done this, and it was a mistake, and I'm sorry. You were going to be fined for doing this. And so they gave him a fine of 500, let's say 500 shekels, or whatever the money was back then. So he paid it. He said, these slippers, okay. He left with his head down and thought, well, maybe it is time to get rid of the slippers after all, because they're causing me some trouble here. So he decided to take a walk, and he threw his slippers into the river. And he was done with it, said goodbye to them, and went and bought some new slippers. Well, suddenly there was a problem with the water in the town. And it turned out, when they went to the pipes to figure out what was causing the problem with the water, they found Abu Qasim's slippers in the pipes. So, once again, he's in the town, the head of the town's office. Abu Qasim, here are your slippers again. What are you thinking? Trying to cause a problem with our water in the town. You have another fine. So he took the slippers home and said, my goodness, this is a real problem. So he thought, let me go into my backyard. I'm going to dig a hole, and I'm going to put the slippers in the hole and bury them and say goodbye to them once and for all. So he did that. But while he was digging his hole, his neighbor was watching. And his neighbor went to the head of the town and said, Abu Qasim is burying something in the back of his town. And you couldn't bury things in the back of it. In your yard was not your own. So they came and they dug up, they thought he was burying gold or some money. They came up and they dug up the slippers. And once again, Abu Qasim was back in the town, in the head of the office. Another fine. He goes home with these slippers. And finally he said, well, how can I get rid of them? I'll throw them into the ocean. I should be able to get rid of them by throwing them into the ocean. So he goes to the sea and he throws his slippers into the ocean. And sure enough, a fisherman brings up his net, and Abu Qasim had all sorts of sharp things. They cut his net and the fish escaped. So he's once again back in the office of the head of the town. And finally, he goes home with these slippers, having another fine. And he gets home, and he realizes that I've been really trying to get rid of these slippers. Maybe I'm not supposed to get rid of these slippers after all. Maybe these slippers are part of me, and I'm going to keep them.
Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urva Rukamiva Bandhanam Mrityor Mukshya Mamritar Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanam Mrityor Mukshya Mamritar Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanam Mrityor Mukshya Mamritar Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu Om Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Sarve Bhavatu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashantu Makashat Dukapat Bhavet Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti
Go to sleep. Go to sleep, my dear little girl. Your father has gone into the apple orchards. He will return to you, bringing many apples. Go to sleep. Go to sleep, my little girl.
Karen, there is a moment of prayer.
Thank you. At this time, we continue with our time travel as we invite Adam Shefitz to the piano to accompany my father, Brian Neal, on the Sicilian. Did I say that right? Sicilian, yes.
You'll have to ask the French speakers.
Yes, if there are any French speakers, please correct me. Now is your time. If not, forever hold your peace.
Just the one. Yeah.
No.
Sicilian.
Sicilian.
You know.
This is a very interesting composer. Yet again, a woman composer. We're paying tribute to the woman, some of the woman composers this evening. Maria Teresa Paradis. She was a contemporary of Mozart. And she was blind from a young age, 6 or 7 years old. Yet she went on to be a very well-known at that time performer, piano and singer. And she wrote this piece, and it's one of very, very few pieces that she's composed. She didn't write it for trumpet. She wrote it for violin and piano. Oh, apples falling from the tree. I see one landed in my hand. I'm in love with what I see, even though it's bruised and green. Oh, see, no two apples are the same. No, no, we each have our different tastes. You better realize your strength. Stop obsessing over every mistake. Oh, hey, 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 hey. So tell me how you're feeling. Looking at your bruises and your scars. No matter what, keep on believing and be in love with who you are. Oh, who you are. Oh, said it's up to you now. Oh,
people that you meet. Share the apples that you bring. Sometimes you cry, sometimes you sing, but together we'll make it through everything. Oh yeah, yeah. Tell me how you're feeling. Oh, looking at your bruises and your scars. No matter what, keep on believing and be in love with who you are. Who you are. Oh, oh, oh. Said it's up to you now. Hey. Oh, oh, oh. When you truly begin to love yourself, you open the doors to your wildest dreams. Yeah, you can see yourself climbing the highest trees and leave behind the doubt and worry. Yeah.
Seeing all of you guys and everybody who performed, I was like, wow. So like sitting there before.
But you know what? There's a valid excuse. Because this is our first time performing our music live.
No need
in
to
front of
explain.
an audience. So this is really special, actually. Like more than we actually realized. I asked you, like, we're doing a concert on Friday. Can you be there? Can you do something? What can we do? Let's do our music. Okay. And we didn't think until like yesterday that this was actually the first audience we would have to showcase our original music to. So it's really special. Let's go.
I'll go DJ.
Hey! Hey!
We both know that there's no better time and place. Tell me, babe, there's no reason not to dance the night away. Don't you shy away, yeah. 'Cause I got what it takes to take you away with the music I play. I got you say and play that disco love. I got that sound that you just can't get enough of. Play that disco love. I don't know why, but baby, this shit is really funny and I like it. We both know that there's no reason to run away or hide. And this sounds so right. I would love if you were by my side. 'Cause I'm tired of always letting the moment pass me by. Yeah. So if you want it, then you know where it's at. I won't be holding back this time. 'Cause I've got what it takes to take you away with the music I play. Could you say that you want to feel the rhythm inside? Now this moment's so right. If it's only tonight, tell me, baby. oh, 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 oh. Hey, one more time. Play that disco love. Got that sound that you just can't get enough of. Play that disco love. I don't know why, but babe, this shit is really funny and I like it. Play that disco love. I got that sound that you can't get enough of. Baby, won't you play that disco love? Hey, 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 here we go! Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah. We both know that I want it, and I know that you want it. We both know that I got it, and I know that you.
The way you sip your tea. The way you smile just me. The way you sing of the way you haunt my They can't take that away from Oh, we may never, never meet again on the bumpy road to love. Still I'll always, always keep the memory of the way you hold your knife, the way we danced till 3, the way you changed my life. Love, they can't take that away from me. Oh, they can't take that away. They can't take that away. Oh, they can't take that away. They want to take it away. Yeah, take it away.
Yes, let's do it.
This one's for my grandmother, Roberta. River, wider than a mile, I'm crossing you in style. Someday you dream maker, you heartbreaker. Wherever you're going, I'm going your way. Two drifters off to see the world. There's such a lot of world to see. With
round the bend, my huckleberry friend, Moon River, and me. And me. Smile. Smile, though your heart is aching. Smile, though your heart is aching. Smile, even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you'll get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you'll see the sun come shining through for you. Light up your face with gladness, hide any trace of sadness, although a tear may be ever so near. That's the time you must keep on trying. Smile, what's the use in crying? You'll see the sun come shining through if you just smile. If you just smile.
Bravo.
Could make me be and even be glad just to be sad, thinking of you. Some others I've seen might never be me, might never be cross or try to be boss, but they wouldn't do.
No, they wouldn't.
For nobody else gives me a thrill. With all your faults, I love you still.
There's a lot.
Oh, I love you still. It had to be wonderful. It had to be
Brava.
And we can go all night. We can go all night, but there's ice cream in the dining room.